So, what's the big topic of the day? Well, politically, it has to be the Liberal leadership and the potential for there to be yet another round of the leadership merry-go-round follies. And all that talk is only going to increase now, with the latest Newspoll results, which just dropped a few hours ago, that show the coalition remaining down near record lows, with the LNP right down there. They picked up a point, but Susan Lay's approval rating dropping to a net minus of 20%. It's pretty dire, and it gets more interesting, too, because I've been calling this move for a while. The poll also shows that One Nation has surged to 11%. Now, I have been hearing rumors for weeks, if not months now, that a spill could be on sometime this year. But if so, those who want to execute such a spill are going to have to get a wiggle on, because there's not a lot of time left to do this. Now, Parliament goes back for a short sitting week this week from Tuesday, but they can't call a full party room meeting because not all the senators are going to be there, just those whose committees have estimates hearings. So even though it might be, or it's going to be nigh impossible to convene a party room meeting this week, but that leaves just 3 sitting weeks in the year left for the Conservative wing of the party, presumably led by Andrew Hastie, about whom more in a moment, to make a move. Now, the weeks of October 27th, November 5th, and finally the week of November 24th are really the only opportunities before the House rises for the rest of the year. Which leads to the next question. Does the right, presumably led by Andrew Hastie, have the numbers? Well, it's an open question, but we have seen more and more wobbles, including 2 more coalition backbenchers saying they want to ditch net zero, Ben Small and Henry Pike. And whatever happens the next 3 weeks are likely to be absolutely bloody. Whether or not there is a spill, a successful one at that, as the recriminations over last May's electoral defeat and the fight over the future of the coalition, and particularly the Liberal Party, hangs in the balance. We are firmly now, and I firmly believe this, in the territory with these Newspoll results of anything can happen. And I can tell you what, we are going to expect a very lively first day back at Parliament on Tuesday. Now, for his part, Andrew Hastie says, no. Despite stepping back from the front bench, he is not challenging, and Susan Lay has his full support. And he simply wants to have the freedom to speak about issues he cares about.
It's pretty simple, guys. That's why I'm fronting up. There's no challenge to Susan. I support Susan. Tried to do this in good faith. And here we are. I think we can win an election. I mean, Labor is doing a terrible job on key issues like energy. Energy prices have gone up 24%, or electricity has gone up 24% in the last 12 months. Immigration, as I said, is out of control. Not enough houses are being built. People are feeling the pressure in the cities. I want to be able to speak up on issues that I care about. And in order to uphold the principle of shadow cabinet solidarity, I had to step back.
Well, all the problems he identifies are absolutely correct, but of course, nominating actual policies to fix them, that's going to be a little bit more difficult, including figuring out exactly what the target for immigration should be. Meanwhile, Senator James Patterson, who has stepped into the shadow home affairs portfolio, also backed in the suggestion that no challenge is imminent and that Susan Lee's leadership is safe as houses.
Has Hastie's decision to leave damaged Susan Lee's leadership?
No, that's not my assessment. My assessment is Susan has the strong and overwhelming support of the party room. Andrew himself made clear in his statement that he supports Susan's leadership, and this is not about leadership. This is about his deeply held, sincere convictions, and he's a person of integrity. He didn't want to stay on Susan's front bench if he wasn't able to support those positions, and he's choosing the freedom of the backbench, which every Liberal is entitled to do.
Well, okay then. Now, look, as I suggested before, I may not know a lot about sports, but even I have been around long enough to know the old saying, the coach has the full support of the board. If Susan Ley makes it through 2025, then she's going to have a hard time holding on through 2026. That's the simple fact of the matter. And why? Well, because she has made a number, I think, of tactical and strategic errors since ascending to the leader's office. Tactically, she was too clever by half in the way she organized her shadow cabinet, dunning many she saw as political or personal rivals. And this is where it gets very personal, very high school. Hastie, for example, wanted to broaden his reach and get away from the national security space with a portfolio in economics or finance or even education. But he got home affairs. And then, he says, he got cut out of discussions about migration, which is firmly in that patch, and which is one of those areas where the Liberals have a real chance to open up some real daylight with Labour on an issue where most Australians say Labour is getting it wrong and that we are taking in too many people every year. In fact, that number is going to get up to, on current trends, 2 million new Australians by the end of the second term of the Albanese government. That's a lot of schools, that's a lot of roads, that's a lot of hospitals, that's a lot of houses. And that tactical error suggests to a lot of people, myself included, that the leader of the opposition has been, like so many Liberal leaders since Malcolm Turnbull, more concerned with shoring up her own position on the left rather than providing a real opposition to Labour from the right. Or, to put it another way, she's going down the same old well-trodden Labour-light path that has been devastating to the Liberals on both a state and federal level. Hello, Mark Speakman in New South Wales. Why else, of course, would she have let Jacinta Price twist in the wind for 10 days after what is, when you look at it in the cold light of day, a pretty unremarkable statement about the voting patterns of Indian migrants sourced not from some, heaven forfend, hard-right website, but in fact a Labour-aligned pollster. Could this be part of the reason why, while the Liberal primary vote remains down towards oblivion, the One Nation primary vote has been going up and up and up? And the Newspoll, which I cited before, that's not an outlier. Earlier this week on Wednesday, the Guardian Essential poll put One Nation's primary vote at 13%, more than double the 6.4% it recorded at the May election, and ahead of the Greens, who are just on 11%.